Hello, everybody, and today what we're going to be doing is predicting Saturday night's main event, which takes place tonight at 7:30 p.m. I think 7:30. Either way, it's going on tonight on NBC. There are only 4 matches announced for the show so far, but there is one other segment that we're going to be looking at between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Has been a minute since I've done one of these, so please give me a bit of leniency if I stutter myself through it. Need to get into the groove of doing prediction shows. But either way, what we're going to be going through is every single match on the show, who I think is going to win the match and why. And then at the very end, I'll give you a synopsis of what I think is going to happen. And then after the show, I'll give a review of it and see how well I did. So the first match is Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the women's world title. This is a weird choice, I think, by Triple H, and it's an issue that I think he's been having lately, where he sees that something works or it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. He sees that people on Twitter and people online are like, Triple H from date X to date X was really, really good. That Triple H was great. So he's like, what did I do during that time? And then he just copy and pastes all the matches and then maybe throws a few new storylines in there every now and then. But that's exactly what happens on this card. 3 of these matches are rematches. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're really long distance rematches. Gunther and Jay from June of last year. Rhea and Nia is from March of last year, or like February. And then Braun and Sheamus has been happening on and off for the past like 6-7 months. So when it comes to these matches, I don't think there's really anything that's going to be a shocker out there, but it's just using the same formula over and over again and hoping to get the same result. But if you gave someone their favorite food every day, they're not going to like it as their favorite food after like 2 weeks, right? Like if you had a hot dog every day, the first day you're like, oh, hot dog, I enjoy hot dogs, but by like day 8 or 9, you're like, oh, another one, another freaking hot dog. So that's what's going on here. He's just like repeat, and that's, I think, really exemplified in this Rhea versus Nia match. This is from forever ago, back in Australia for Elimination Chamber, and I don't think there's really any chance Nia wins this match. Rhea's obviously going to retain. It's her first title defense, so really no question there. But Triple H, message to you, book new storylines. Like the next match we're going to cover is new and has not been a rehash. But even still, just like come up with some new stuff, Do like, I don't know, Rhea versus Candice LeRae or something. I don't know. Someone who she hasn't faced off against on the main roster. Not necessarily just repeating the same matches over and over and over again. And for that matter, why is Nia Jax, the just very recent loser of the SmackDown Women's title, now challenging for the Raw Women's title and not going after her best friend who stabbed her in the back? Like, there's just a lot of nitty-gritty issues with it. Now, I think the match is probably going to be okay at best, but if they can deliver, honestly, I was going to say if they can deliver, I'm fine with it, but in reality, I'm not. Because the way Triple H books is, he books bad, and then he books like 1 or 2 things that are awesome, like the best thing you've ever seen, and then you forgive him for booking bad the rest of the time. And I don't think that that is a good way to book. And that's why I don't think most of the matches on the show are going to be particularly good. Now, there's good talent in there. Like a little later on, we'll have Breaker and Sheamus. That's going to be great because of just the talent involved. But it's not going to feel new because it's something you've seen before. Either way, Rhea Ripley ends up winning this match. I'll explain my Triple H rant a little further on after the next match because this is actually some pretty good booking on his part. As I said, that next match is Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. This is going to be either one of 2 things. It's either going to be A, the best hoss fight you've ever seen, even better than Braun and Bronson, or Jacob flattens Braun Strowman. Either one will work wonders if they can do it well. I get it. Braun's getting old, and he's not going to be as strong, as impactful anymore, and that's completely fine. That's just Father Time catches up to everybody. But if he can deliver a solid match with Jacob Fatu, which is not that hard to do, then I think this match will go over great. It's probably going to end up being match slash segment of the night. Um, Jacob is all in all great. He's going to end up winning this. I don't think there's a real question about that. They're really trying to push him as a single star now that the bloodline has started to kind of fall in on itself. So Jacob Fatu with the win over Braun Strowman. Then we move on to Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. Now, this match is similar to Nia and Rhea, whereas Nia and Rhea was a bad match that they're simply repeating. This is a good match that they're repeating, so it's not necessarily as bad. Like, if I gave you the worst sandwich you ever had 2 days in a row, then you probably wouldn't enjoy that. But if I gave you the best sandwich you ever had 2 days in a row, just 2 days, like that's fine. Like, oh man, thanks for that. It's really nice. And that's what they're doing here. And Breaker's likely going to win, but a Sheamus win would be enjoyable. It would be nice to see. But I think Triple H just really does not want him to win the Intercontinental title. And if he does, it's got to be at a more premium event like the Rumble or Mania or anything like that. And I think the likelihood is that he wins it at Mania from Breaker, because while I don't want it to be another rematch, knowing Triple H, that's how it's going to end up going. But for now, Breaker retains the title with a solid win over Shamo. I do think Ludwig Kaiser will likely get involved, but this time get beat up and he won't really factor in. Braun just will end up getting the better of Sheamus somehow. And then we'll just repeat the exact same storyline again so that we can get Sheamus Braun at Mania and get Sheamus the title. Then we have Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes in a championship signing deal for the Royal Rumble. And I don't think I even really need to discuss this because we all know where this is going. It's going to be they both come out to the ring. They have a pretty solid promo segment, mostly carried by Kevin. And then Kevin says something mean, and then Cody is like, "Ugh," punches him across the table. And then Kevin is going to try and put him through the table, but then Cody's going to reverse it and put him through the table. And then Cody's going to think like he's standing tall, but then Kevin's going to get a weapon and hit him. And then they're going to be separated by two people, but Cody's going to fight it off. He's going to try and fight through the officials, but they're holding him back. And Kevin's like, "Come on, Cody. Come get me. Yeah, you can't stop me, Cody. I'm going to beat you at the Royal Rumble," which I'm not mad about if he does. "I'm going to beat you. I'm getting your title, blah, 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 blah. I'm the real champ." And that's all I need to say, because that's the entire segment. Anyways, in the main event, we have the World Heavyweight Championship on the line as Gunther defends against Jey Uso. This is potentially the most we need a Raw main event match you've ever seen known to man, and I think you know how it's going to go. I don't really need to talk about this one either, because this show, as with a Twinkie, is all fluff and filler. I'll kick your hiney, man. I'm a savage killer. Either way, this is Gunther being a serious dude, Jey Uso being the yeet guy, and then he's going to do his 5 moves, and then Gunther's going to be like, "Whoa, I've never seen this before. Oh!" And then pretend like he's about to be beaten, and then just kick out of everything, and eventually end up winning with a powerbomb. Just a little routine, Triple H. Just a little routine. Change it up. Just once. Matter of fact, that's what the end of this video is going to be, because this video is at, 8 minutes right now? So I'm going to give you a minute of just something that Triple H can do over the course of the next bit of time, but I'm going to have some fun while I'm doing it. Welcome to the podcasting section of the video. Yes, I have a microphone that I just don't use because it is a pain to set up because of the wires. And I looked through the Raw roster about who could, Gunther face on his way to Mania. And there's feasibly 0 people other than the guy he's going to face at Mania that are on that list. You see, you have talent, but they're all injured. Like you have Bronson Reed, injured. Ilya Dragunov, injured. And then there's one other person that I saw, Tyler Bate, injured. 3 guys who would be great matches with Gunther and have had great matches with Gunther in the past. Other than Bronson, I don't think they've faced off. But they're all injured, so it's not like they're going to have matches with them anytime soon. The only person on the roster who I think could feasibly face him is CM Punk. And that's going to be, I think, the Mania program where Punk ends up winning the title, probably the main event of night 1. So in the build up to that, I don't even know what you run because you have talent on there, but you've ran through all of your options, is what I'm going to say, because all of your other talent is in tag teams. Like they're all separated in tag teams, and you can't
And the way he's done it, he hasn't been able to continue a consistent program with Gunther. Like they had the Damien thing on and off for a while, and that was okay. And there was Sammy, and then just tons of people that have been in and out. Like Chad Gable should probably be in that contention, but he's a jobber now, which is very sad to say. Um, but like, if I just look at this roster, like the amount of people on here that are just tag team wrestlers, like Akam, Akira Tozawa, Brutus Creed, Carlito, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, in a sense, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Cruz del Toro, Ivar, Joe Gacy, Joaquin Wild, JD McDonough, Jey Uso, Julie, and not, I don't mean with Jimmy, I just mean in 6-man tags on Raw. Julius Creed, Kofi, Ludwig's become more of a single star recently. Otis, R Truth, Razor, like it's just filled to the brim with just tag team wrestlers. And there are guys in here who could probably have a good program with Gunther. Like you have a Pete Dunne, that would be really good. You got a Rey Mysterio, that would be pretty good. You got Penta, that would be an interesting mix up, but obviously he's a little new to the company, so you might want to hold that off. You have just people who feasibly would have a good match with Gunther, but because of how they're booked, it's just nigh impossible to do anything like that until you have the match with Punk. So you just have to rerun stuff until you get to Mania and the program leading up to it. And that's unfortunate. And it's just a problem with how he's booked himself kind of into a hole. And could he fix that? Yeah, but it's going to take some time for people to treat Otis as a viable world title contender and Pete Dunne as a viable world title contender. So either way, that was the podcasting section of the video. Matter of fact, I'm going to end the video like this because I need to learn how to use this mic a little bit better because I did get it very recently. Yes, and the bottom of it is very sensitive, so I can't touch it because if I do, it messes all the audio up. Make sure to have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on the channel. As I said, I don't think the show is going to be too crazy when it comes to like title changes or great matches. It's basically just a filler show to get us on the way to the Rumble, which I will be predicting a couple of days prior to it. And either way, goodbye.